This is Lawrence D. Adams. Listen to this live broadcast that we did just a few days ago with the PolyPattersons. Polyamorous relationship that the three of them have. You will enjoy this. Listen up closely. Here we go. This is Lawrence D. Adams, and today we're going to talk about the new book, audiobook, The Power of Believing in Yourself. When you believe in yourself, others begin to believe in you. But you can't expect others to believe in you when you have not made the decision to believe in yourself. It's when you concrete in your mind that you must believe in yourself. You will accomplish, you will conquer, and you will execute at a whole different level. Let's talk about the other audiobook that's complementary to The Power of Believing in Yourself. And that is The Secret Invisible Crown. That's right, The Secret Invisible Crown. Until you realize that you are royalty, that you have a crown on the inside of you, that you are crowned with greatness, once again, people, situations, problems will treat you how you treat yourself. But you got to recognize that there's a crown inside of you. You must realize that you are a king. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care what they told you. You are a king. But you have to first see yourself as a king. Don't get caught up in the hype of a king without having the image of a king on the inside of you. These two audiobooks you need to get. You need to get before the price goes up on them. You need to get these two audiobooks. If you listen to both of them, you need to listen to them 3 more times. You need to get this deep down inside of your subconscious so that you can be the winner that you were designed to be.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome. This is IP Kingdom. As you know, we got my big brother, Lawrence D. Adams. And we got Polly Patterson in the house today. So
hey,
just introduce yourselves real quick. And then, if they're not here, they'll catch the playback. So don't worry about that. They'll get all the information that we need. So I'm gonna put the camera on you guys.
all right.
Hi, I'm Tony.
I'm Kim,
And I'm Kel.
and we're
Polly Patterson.
Hey, I got a quick question that I laughed about. What's up with the shuffle? What's up with the shuffle?
It's something that we just started. It's something that Cam and I started, I think, out of like awkwardness. I think it started out of awkwardness, just like feeling awkward on the camera when we first started to do our little Instagram triad talks. And then it just kind of became a thing. And as you know, Tony, he sometimes participates and sometimes he doesn't, depending on the day.
I've seen that. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you guys?
So I'm 29.
I'm 25, and my birthday is like next week, so I'll be 26 soon.
I'm 26. I turned 27 in November.
Oh, okay. So you guys, some answers. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, so I wanted, what happened is I was actually just thumbing through Instagram and I came across the Polly Patterson, and I seen them do a couple of interviews with a couple other people. And I said, hey, let me share this with Alpha Kingdom. So what we did was we actually looked at the videos, and it was very interesting because their story was showed the ups and downs of being in a polyamorous relationship and a triad. So a lot of those terms, a lot of people hear, but they don't know the definition. So I think one of the biggest things that people can understand first and foremost is, could you explain the definitions and then how you guys came into this whole thing started?
So polyamory is the ability to have multiple loves. And we specifically are in a triad, so that's a closed relationship between the three of us. So it's a triangle, similar to a triangle shape. So there's equal participation in the relationship, and then we all are connected. We have separate relationships with one another, and then within that triangle is one complete relationship.
That's excellent. I see a lot of times people have misconceptions of what it is, and they don't understand the different definitions. And if you're not into that lifestyle, you don't know. So you only have assumptions. So how did this begin? Where, I know you guys here, I heard it before. I heard it before several times. So, yeah, Tony had to sneeze first, but but how did this all gumbo of this begin?
Well, it all started with Tony and I. He and I met in college, and then we dated for like 6 years. And I was bi-curious, I guess that's a term of like, being curious about what it's like to be with a woman, but I had never experienced it before. So I talked to Tony about it, and we kind of like joked around and like played with different scenarios. And then we like got serious and started actually looking to find someone like that we could at least build a friendship with, and like someone that we could trust, so I could experience that side of myself with Tony as well. So we went on Bumble and searched for a long time, and then we found our Cal, and we're just so in love with her.
How is it different from a regular relationship? I mean, because guys think it's all fun and game. I know that it's not, but
Not at all.
Yeah, that was different.
Yeah.
as far as like the interaction and stuff like that, like
so surprisingly, a lot of it is the same, but in the ways that it's different is obvious. The obvious one, you kind of have to take into account someone else's opinion about something. Like the third component makes some simple things very complex sometimes, because at the end of the day, you kind of want to make everyone happy. In a regular relationship, you only have to compromise kind of like in 2 ways, but sometimes compromising in 3 ways equally can be a pretty difficult task.
So what do you mean? I'm gonna ask the question. I'm sharpshooter, so I'm gonna ask. So what do you mean in a sense of compromise? Because a lot of times, what really fascinated me about you guys, and me and Alfie talked online prior to even this coming together, was they seem to know something that a lot of monogamous relationships don't know. And you said one key component was the compromise, and I think the other thing was that I picked up just watching you guys' video was the honesty that was there. So how does that even play into making this work?
We're gonna make him talk today.
All right, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, so like the honesty component, like, so with women, a lot of times their energy can change, and you guys really have to talk about it. Like I guess when there's a triad and then one person energy changes, it kind of affects the entire group. Then it's kind of like 2 people sitting there just kind of like, so like, what's going on? And it's like, you have to be completely honest, because it's like, it's obvious, we see it. And yeah, it's just, and the other one was compromise. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something where.
I feel like the holidays were.
Yes. So the holidays, for example, holiday travel. My family lives in Pennsylvania. Kelsey's family lives in Texas, and Cameron's family lives in South Carolina.
Wow.
So you can't be in 2 places or 3 places at once. So for example, this year, as of now, we kind of have plans of doing Thanksgiving in Texas and Christmas in South Carolina, and then us being in New Jersey, we'll probably just hit Pennsylvania kind of just like around that time. But in that, 2 people are giving up being at Thanksgiving with their families or Christmas with their families. So yeah, it's just a lot of compromise.
A lot of compromise. So would you say the compromise would be more increased because of there's 3 people versus when it was just you 2? Yes. Or would you say no? It's just the same across the board.
I would say it's more because, for using the holiday for example, if we did Thanksgiving in Texas this year, and then Thanksgiving in South Carolina next year, that would have been two Thanksgivings that I would have missed versus one. So in that way, it's kind of like it requires a little more.
Mm-hmm. So now, I mean, so I guess we sort of jump rope right into it. I want to jump back, but that means your parents, somebody's parents, know about what's going on between all y'all.
Oh yeah, everyone's
somebody's parents got to say, wait a minute, you going to Texas, you going to Georgia, you going over here. What's going on with all y'all? So how did that door open up with, explaining to your parents like, hey, I got something I want to tell y'all. Y'all might want to sit down. How did that door really open, or did you say, you know what, we're gonna wait a minute till we solid on our end?
That's exactly what we did. We really worked on our relationship and established the dynamic that we're in right now. And we found ourselves not quite lying to our parents, but just withholding what we were doing. I'd say, I'm going to the city this weekend. And then my mom would be like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, just hanging out with Anthony and a friend. So it felt like I was just not able to tell her everything and I wanted to. So I think all of us were kind of feeling the same way, and we decided to tell our families.
So now the key thing is, how did actually your families react to, I'm coming from a traditional background, of course, church and whatever the case may be. How did they respond? You know what I mean? It was like, oh my Lord, what did y'all do? What's going on? How did that work?
Good.
So I think all of our family, within each family lineage, responded differently. Mm-hmm. I think most importantly, what we had was a level of respect from them. They knew, each of our families knew that we were going to make wise and prudent decisions. They know that about us. Mm-hmm. And so when we brought this kind of untraditional dynamic, there was a lot of I'm not really sure I understand this, but then after meeting one another and after just maybe following our Instagram and just kind of getting a better understanding, it's I still don't understand it, but I can clearly see that you guys are happy. So I love you and support you. So I think that's really mostly what it is. It's just don't quite get it, but as I start to see it, I can kind of see how this could work, and I see that it makes you happy, so I'm gonna love and support you regardless.
So the question is, was it that awkward moment while you're at the dinner table, there's Tony and then there's, how did that play out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. So that scenario you speak of kind of actually happened with my family. So my parents came up and we got dinner in the city, and all of us were there, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Cam and Kel were like, you should tell them. And I was like, excuse me?
She drinking the wine now.
I was like, excuse me? And they were like, yeah, you should tell them. And I was like, so we had no plan. We did not discuss this. And then they just put it on me at the dinner table. So I'm kind of I'm starting to sweat a little bit. And then I just kind of lean into my dad. Just this is our girlfriend as well. and then he was like, excuse me? And he was trying to whisper to me on the side, asking a whole bunch of questions. And yeah, it was a little awkward.
I mean, it's crazy because a lot of times people don't think about the dynamic of what happens is when you have to tell your parents hey, this is my girlfriend and she's all together with us, and everybody just put the fork down oh my dear, especially in the city, waiter, come here please, more water.
Yeah, my dad ordered another drink.
I remember them asking, are we being punked?
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, are we being punked? And then he was just kind of are y'all serious? He kept asking, are we serious? And he was like, together, and then like, because I guess there's different definitions of together,
Right.
And so yeah, you know.
So yeah, I think a lot of people link of the together like, okay, we're just sexually together, but or y'all together as in a relationship, like all three of y'all together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that I'm speaking from as a parent. I would think I would be in shock too. I would more water, please. So yeah, I understand. But now, how with the young ladies? I'm sorry, I didn't names, but how did your parents take it?
So my mom was very concerned at first. She had a lot of questions. I also grew up in a very traditional background, so it was tough because she did always have this vision of me in her head, and she just kind of had to accept that I wasn't that. So as time has gone by, she's gotten more comfortable with it. She actually met Kel for the first time last week, and it went really well. So I think just the more she sees it and the more she sees our dynamic, I feel like she'll just accept it more. But she still loves and supports me, so I appreciate that a lot.
Okay, that's good, because a lot of times in relationships, we may not say it, but whether we want the parent to agree or disagree, we still want them to support what we're doing. And that can be a hard pill to swallow, especially as a parent. Like, you doing what? Okay, great. Let's see how long this lasts. So yeah, definitely. So prior we got the parents out the way. What was really the point where you say we're going to actually pursue finding someone else to be a throuple? So what was the calculation, or what was going through your mind? What was the conversation going on?
I feel like it was a conversation between the three of us. It's not what Tony and I were seeking when we originally wanted to find someone. We were more so seeking a really close friendship where we could have someone that we feel comfortable with and just trust, but we're not in a full relationship. And I think the three of us just decided.
Yeah, it wasn't something I was seeking either. I just kind of happened to run across. It's kind of weird how it all happened, how we even connected to begin with. Because my first day on the app was their last day on the app, and I kind of was just curious. They had their faces covered, so I was like, "Let's see what this is," you know. I didn't really think that's not what I was looking for. I was never interested in, joining a couple or being in a throuple. I honestly kind of just wanted a girlfriend to just kind of explore my vicarious side as well. I just happened to meet Kim and Tony. We went on one date, also / interview, like I like to call it, and then we just kind of hung out ever since, and it just kind of just happenly just
sort of organically.
Yeah.
So with the interview, what was y'all at the table at the first date? What was the interview process? Okay, check. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. What was it like? Oh, she did.
How did you communicate to each other that it was a go?
Yeah.
It was interesting because we were at a restaurant in Brooklyn, and then it's not that much. It wasn't that much room, in between tables. So I just remember some of the questions and just trying not to get the other table to hear what we were talking about. Cause I'm this is so nuts. This is crazy. But yeah, I was really just trying to see what everybody was really trying to get out of it, because this is a crazy situation. So we really needed to be on the same page. It's just this isn't something you just kind of do for fun. I mean, you can do it for fun, but I'm not really big on kind of just wasting people's time. So there's just some things that we really had to make sure we were all on the same page about.
So y'all had a checklist, or y'all did your homework prior? I haven't been in college in years, but before you got the syllabus ready, you're okay, we're about to go through this. okay, she's, you know, was it that, or it just was more like we're going to go with our gut and what we felt this is a fit for us?
Yeah, like for me, I wanted to meet someone who I knew had like a pure heart, who I could trust, who wouldn't like steal my boyfriend or like be on some crazy type of thing. So I think just like meeting Kel and just like feeling her energy, like seeing what type of person she was, like she was well mannered, she was well spoken. Those things were like check, check, like that's kind of like a first impression type of thing. And also like I really was trying to make a really close friend. So I was also asking her like a lot of girly questions, like, do you like to do hair? Do you like to do makeup? Do you like to cook? Do you like wine? Things like that. And we just like hit it off really naturally. And I was like, I feel like I could be best friends with her as well. And I think that was really important for me. Like if this isn't anything, I at least want to like make a friend out of it, you know?
That's good. Yeah.
Let me ask this: is it more of the interaction? Is it more of a sister kind of interaction or more of a best friend kind of interaction?
So I think there's times where we kind of like we mix between the different relationships. Sometimes it is more of a sister interaction. Sometimes it's a best friend interaction. Sometimes it's a girlfriend interaction. So I think that's what makes this relationship, specifically between Cam and I, so unique, is that we can kind of move through those different, those different dynamics. So it's like, depending on the situation, will interact a different way.
I got one more question real quick. So I'm knocking on wood. So this is what I want to ask. If someone were to want to do this themselves, is it more of a chemistry thing? Like, can it be done, or does it matter on the two women? Or is it just if you just got a real super player, you can pull it off? Or does it really matter about the woman's chemistry? Or is it to the point where if the women want the man, it doesn't really matter? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I guess, so for our case, the chemistry between the women has to be great.
Yeah.
Those other kind of dynamics may depend on the woman. Like when I say the woman, I mean the one, I guess, the one already established in the relationship. But yeah, for us, the chemistry between the women was definitely probably the most important.
So are you team poly from the rest of your life? If you become single, would you like try it again, or are you just like this? I'm trying it right now, and if this don't work, I'm gonna just go back to the traditional.
I don't know if I'd be closed off to anything.
Yeah.
Like if God forbid something happened within this dynamic and we all separated, I wouldn't be. I don't kind of live like on this black and white line. So it kind of depends on just like what the universe brings. Just like this relationship, it wasn't something that I was specifically seeking. It just kind of happened, and I was like, oh, this feels good, with my soul, with my spirit. So I'm gonna go with it. We'll see how it goes. Never thought I would end up here. So I wouldn't say never, but I also probably would take some time just to be by myself too. So,
how do people react to it when you guys are out?
So that's
how do people react to it when you guys are just out on the date?
Tony usually gets a thumbs up, like, oh wow, bro, like you're so cool. And for us, it's like, really? Like, you guys are girlfriends? Let's you guys kiss. And I'm just like, shut up. Like, that's the dumbest thing you can say. Because like both of us being like cis presenting women, like cis women, it's like difficult for us to tell people that we're girlfriends because it is kind of like fantasized sometimes, and it can be annoying when we tell people and they just want to see us kiss, and I'm just like, why?
Okay, great. So that led segue to this. So how do you guys deal with? I didn't ask this question. We got to ask two questions in one. So you guys live together, correct?
Yes.
So how do you deal with space? Because even inside of a monogamous relationship, you're like, you know what? I know Tony played video games. So it's like, right now, I need to play my video games. What are you guys doing? You know, how do you deal with the dynamic of space, but yet I'm still with you?
So I think the pandemic kind of like changes things, right? Because we're like confined to this house. In comparison to not on a normal basis, you know, we would have the ability to go out, do different things. Um, and so I think, yeah, Tony plays his games. He we put his games in a room so he can go to his game room and play his games and close the door in peace. And then usually like Cam and I are probably doing something together, or if not, then you know we're in separate rooms. So I definitely think that like it is important for us all to have like one specific space that's ours. Just because, and that may not be for everybody, but I think for us specifically, that helps a lot.
I think that's an important dynamic that's even in any relationship, that knowing how to navigate having that space between each other, but yet having that space that's central for each other. So even when that happened, and so this the other side of it, I heard it, I already know the answer, so because I already did my research on you guys. So yeah. So how do you guys deal with, what's up, Ted? How do you guys deal with when it's a fallout? When the bomb is dropped and everybody's like, you, everybody out. You know, what do you do when the guns are drawn?
It's never the three of us.
Yeah. That's okay. This is like the part when our dynamic is very like sisterly, because we do fight like sisters sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's usually Tony like who has to moderate and like, you know, just calm the situation down and like really be like, that's a good thing about having three people. Like the third person can kind of say, okay, like, you know, he like tells me kind of what she's been feeling, and then he'll tell her like what I've been feeling, and he really helps to like smooth the situations out. But it's always Kel and I, and it's like if we're bad, then the whole energy in the house is bad, so it kind of sucks.
So Tony, how do you navigate that? I mean, you know, I'm saying it because I'm looking at the chat room, we got a number of men, and they're like, how does he do that? I can't deal with just one. No, my own mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, because I guess you don't know if you can do something until you do it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. You heard what he said, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, like my natural demeanor, I'm just really nonchalant, very laid back. And yeah, so and also I've been, I guess, in relationships with women my entire life, so it's just I'm familiar with it. Cam and Kel are not familiar with being with another woman, I guess, of this seriousness up until now. So they're probably learning every day versus myself, where I've kind of navigated a lot of these landmines before.
That's good, because I think a lot of times when people just see on the outside, they never hear how someone has been prepared to even enter into this. You know what I mean? And if there's no preparation there, what happens is it comes more. You hit every landmine that's out there. You're not gonna. You're going to hit some, but you're more ready to say, I can navigate past that. So that's good to hear. So when the bombs go out, we know that Tony was like, hey, ooh, get a drink of wine. So that's good. That's good. So what happens when it doesn't go that way?
I don't think we've come across that yet so far. I mean, when you say it doesn't go that way, where like what, he doesn't calm the situation?
Right. Where it's just like, you know, everybody take a break. I'm going to the game room. Y'all just, I need to take a break. Does it even get to that point, or it's like, you know what? Let us deal with it right now. Let us up where you at, where I'm at, how do you guys really navigate through that?
So Cam and I, we're born in the same month. So we're the same sign. There are so many similarities. I say all the time, like, in this relationship, I've learned so much about myself because I feel like she's a mirror to me. Things I didn't realize about myself, I've learned in this relationship being with Cam. So I do think that with us being so similar, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because we don't really like to fight. Like, it really hurts both of us to like be in conflict with one another. And so like, I think a lot of times when we can't come to some type of agreement initially, we just kind of take some space away from each other. And eventually it's like, well, I don't want to be mad at you for this long. So, you know, sometimes we have to agree to disagree and just kind of keep it moving, which is, I think, important in any relationship.
Yeah,
So,
I completely agree. I completely agree with that. So one of the things is, I know you guys, how important is having a support group for this type of lifestyle? How does that really help you guys really say, you know what? Because sometimes you can be in an island by yourself and it's like no one really understands how this dynamic works, but you don't have a support group behind you to say, hey, we went through that too. We can do this. You can make it too. So how does that really help you guys with having that support group?
I think it's so like whenever we initially started this relationship and didn't even know we were in a throuple or triad, we went to social media to try to find other people. So some people that we really looked up to were like the Triad fam, the Porter family. Those were like the main two. And then like once we decided to like become public on social media, now like we've created like this big poly community. And so like we all talk to each other and like collaborate on things. And I think that really helps. And like that's the main reason why we decided to go public on social media, because we're not individually that big on social media, but we're like, whenever we were looking for guidance at the beginning of our relationship, like we needed content like this. So that's like the main reason why we do it. And I just think like this, like the fact that we can not even like know these people in real life, but we feel like this sense of community, I think it's really cool, like what all the internet can do. So I think we don't have any like real life poly friends, but we have our virtual friends, and it really does help.
Right.
We got a guy, Mr. Namaction. He has two ladies too. And he has a YouTube channel. So y'all can check out his channel, Mr. Man in Action. He always got two ladies with him.
Okay.
the same ones or just...
Yeah.
Right.
Different ones.
Yeah, so it's not the same. so that's a good difference, because there's a difference between an open triad and a closed. Can you explain that?
Yeah, good question. Good question, Lawrence.
So I don't really know too much about open triads. I suppose, an open triad would be a single poly person who then in turn has two different partners simultaneously. But specifically in this relationship, like I said before, we are all in a committed relationship with one another. So no one is going outside the relationship without, first coming to the group. Like, we haven't really come upon that, but if someone was interested in going outside this closed triad, we would probably just have a conversation with it. More than likely, it wouldn't be a thing that, like, two people probably wouldn't be happy about it. Because, like, I think just traditionally all of us are used to being in monogamous relationships. So the only difference between this relationship and a dyad between two people is that it's three people, but we still are in a monogamous relationship.
I got you. So it's a monogamous relationship. Everyone is in a monogamous relationship. Three ways, right?
As a triangle.
Right, as a triangle, right. And I think that's a good dynamic, because a lot of times people have misconceptions of what it is and the different language that takes place in these type of relationships. And so it's like they just put it under the whole, well, yeah, everybody's just together, you know what I mean? And especially when you got to explain it to someone who want to criticize it or who don't understand it. So that's the reason why I asked that question. So
how do you handle jealousy?
Good question.
How do you handle jealousy? So if how do you do that? Do you just say I got me somebody? I ain't tripping, or do you like try to, you know?
So I feel like our jealousy it doesn't stem from like what people would think. Like me seeing Tony and Kel being like flirty with each other, I think it's really cute. I get more jealous about like each of them like going out and doing things without me. Like I was out of town and they were cooking steak and I got so mad. I was like, you guys, okay, so they cooked steak and then they cooked scallops the next day. And then they were cooking all these good meals while I was gone. And I was like, oh, so like now you guys want to cook all this good food? And I was actually like really mad about that. I don't know why, but it really hurt me. And just like when they do things without me, like if Kel's going out with her friends and I'm like at home and like see her little Instagram story of her like having fun, I get jealous. Or like if Tony's out with his friends, I get jealous. He don't really go out. He just plays video games.
Hey, Tony, let me ask you this. Now, this is a not a deep question, but you may reveal a little something. So, was this something that in the back of your mind you felt like you could never commit to one woman fully, so you needed to, or did it just, you know what I mean? I know that it just happened, but that don't mean you had the fantasy in your head just when you know, like, I think I need two.
So I guess it depends on what context, like a threesome context, or like the traditional way, the traditional where you have like a side chick.
Traditional way.
Terrible that that's the traditional way.
No, traditional may not have been a good way.
Like me, I don't think I could settle down with one chick, but that's another story. That people know me already, but it ain't about me today.
So the threesome one, yeah, like of course, like yeah, that I'd always be willing to try. But I would say in this relationship, like sex is the easy part compared to like everything else.
There we go.
Sex is the easy part. I be telling these guys this shit.
It's really the easy part, like the navigating everything else. Like you really have to be in it because you want to do it and not just for the sex. Like it won't last long. It really won't. Mm-hmm. And then the other way, that's the way I described the more traditional way with a side chick. That wasn't really it for me. Also, like I'm usually good. I'm good with one, like in that sense. I kind of just like treat people the way I like to be treated. It's kind of real simple, like just respect. I try to I don't know. I was never really like that.
Would you recommend or not recommend?
So it really depends on the person. I wouldn't recommend it to all my friends. Like, so in context of my friends, I would not recommend it to all my friends. My friends even joke around with me, telling me I pay them. So, I mean.
The hate is real, man. Golly, bro.
So, yeah, like I would recommend it to a strong-minded, mature person. Like it's like strong-minded and open-minded at the same time. Like you really have to be very understanding and ready to take it on. Like because on top of all that stuff, you also, I jokingly call us the traveling circus, just because like we're so different. But I'm just joking. So yeah, it's just like you have to be willing to take on a lot of those things.
See, I'm glad he said that because a lot of times I'm looking at the chat room and I know the guys how they're like, oh, I got to be about the sex. And they don't realize that you can't have sex 24 hours a day. You got to live. You got to eat. You got to cook. You got to use the bathroom. You got to make a living and all that. And it's good to hear that because having that strong foundation inside of every one of you guys, I believe makes the relationship work. Is that true?
Yeah. And early on, we didn't have sex right away either.
Wow, that's good to hear.
Say that again.
Don't say that.
I got a saying over here. Let me just buzz y'all in. I tell guys, quit asking for me to extra level P chase because I don't do it. So I don't want to teach you guys to do it. And I tell guys, if you want a lot of chicks, you have to be a man yourself. Quit asking me for pickup lines and secret codes and shit. If you get one, women will like you. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't have sex for a while. We really wanted to get to know each other and like really figure out what we were doing.
Yeah. And I know I was scared because I still had never been with a woman. And I'm just like, okay, like once we do it, I'm off the deep end. Like this is like I'm turned out. So I had to really like I had to really get comfortable with Kel and just like feel like it was right. I was just so nervous, honestly. I was scared to touch her. Like our hugs were so awkward when we first met because I was just like, it was my first time like building that kind of relationship, like a romantic relationship with a woman, and I didn't know how to handle myself at all.
My first threesome was in the 90s.
Oh wow.
Not the 90s.
We're little babies.
But yeah, okay, great.
I'm an old man.
All right, well, and then I'm older than him, so wow, we ain't gonna leave me out of it. Don't ask me that question. But it's good because a lot of times people don't know that the importance of getting to know or vetting the person that you're going to, or everyone vetting each other because you want this relationship to work. And when you bring in a dynamic of sex, sometimes that can be a hindrance of you really getting to know the person, not just on a sexual level, but actually on a mental and a spiritual, whatever level that you want to take it on. So I think it's good to hear that because most guys listening to this won't believe it unless you guys just said it.
Right. That's why I thought it was imperative to ask you guys because it's like we try to tell them stuff and they be like, well, that's just you guys. No, guys, it's certain things are what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see a question from Iman Perry. He says, do you plan on having the children or family together?
That's the plan.
We do plan on having a family. We're all young. We're in our 20s. I only have less than a month to say that, so I'm definitely gonna say it one more time. We're all in our 20s. So eventually, I think generational wealth is something that's important to all three of us, and so we definitely don't want to prematurely bring children into this world until we've settled and really have something solid to share with them. And so it's no rush, we're just taking it one day at a time. We do have a plan.
You have a plan. You heard what she said, guys. Plan. Y'all just want to just do random shit. Women are telling you this. Thank you.
we need a horn.
Yeah. I swear they think we always lying and shit, Lawrence.
I know.
You honestly remind me of the voice inside my head. Like I'm really like calm on the outside, but like inside my head, that's actually what's going on.
Hey, man.
Hey, but it's so true because a lot of times, one of the things that I teach, we both teach is you got to be on a purpose, and you got to have you want about leaving a legacy. And how are you going to leave a legacy if you don't have a plan or somewhere to execute it? So even in this polyamorous relationship, it's nice you guys have a plan. So we didn't talk about this. How does this go with the money? Is it 1 pot, 2 pots, 3 pots, 5 pots? Your pot.
Everybody put their money in a jar and shit every day.
Without getting too personal. I don't want to, because there is a place of privacy that needs to be there. So without getting too personal.
No, that's funny. We actually do have a physical jar where we just like put random cash. That doesn't obviously pay for much. But it does exist. So yeah, we have our own separate bank accounts. I guess so. So Cameron and I do have a joint account that we established before we started this dynamic. We do have so we do share a charge card between the three of us. Obviously, with a charge card, you have to pay it off in full at the end of the month. So it just keeps everybody honest. And yeah, so everything for where we live, food, everything, we split it 3 ways. Unless someone's treating, of course. But yeah, we split everything 3 ways.
So I want to shout out my man Anthony Spade for the $20 super chat. Y'all being y'all want the super chat party or not? Y'all better dig in tonight. Y'all getting so caught up because y'all want to do this shit so bad. Y'all better get caught up with the chat button. Shout out to man Anthony Spade. If y'all don't know, y'all go follow him and me and Anthony Spade. We gotta do some shit. We gotta cook, man. I'm gonna email you. We gotta do an interview or hop on a panel or something.
I didn't know you could do that on this. That's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super chat parties today, but we have super chat parties, but these guys want to do that shit, so they don't want to say nothing. They just want to listen.
They better hit that super chat or hit that Cashapp.
Hey.
Because you know why? Because
they thought it was about sex and that's it, fam.
Yeah, that's what it was. They didn't want. Yeah, that's what it was. They thought it was about sex, and it's not. It's more than. It's beyond the stat. So even did you guys have a financial plan coming into this, or there was something y'all sit down and talked about? For us, when you established the relationship.
Yeah, I think that transition, as we decided we were going to live under one roof. As Tony said, Cam and Tony have been together for a while, so they already had some things established. And we all have our own accounts as well. So I think it just keeps us all even. Like if we really truly want to do things and split things 3 ways, then it's easier to just have one place where we're spending money for the household and then divide that by 3. So that way no one feels like they're paying more or they're not paying or they're not giving enough in this relationship financially.
So do you feel that having that financial honesty between you guys actually strengthens the relationship?
I think, I don't know if it's just good to know that the people you're with can pay their bills, can get the things done that they need to do, and we're still also saving for the future. So I think it makes me feel more secure in this relationship, but it's not it makes me love them more because they have money.
I don't know, it's tough because until you experience that though, you may not feel like it adds too much to the relationship.
That's true too.
Yeah. It's so important because I think I'm repeating myself because people need to hear this side of it, that the financial side, and then how you guys deal with the dynamic. So when y'all go out, I know we talked about it a little bit more. So how is it, because we got more people coming in, how is it when you go out and you're around town, especially going to the city, man? I love going to the city. You go down Manhattan, down over here, over there. But how is it when you go to the city? How is it? I mean, what do you do? Do you strut? I think I seen y'all went to Vegas, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I was in Vegas. Come on, because we just left Vegas in January.
So I think normally because we're not individually, we don't really do PDA. Even if I was in a traditional relationship, I wouldn't just be over and extra. So people kind of see us as friends. I think it's when we're checking in the hotels and we have a king bed, that's when it's so.
Yeah.
I always ask, do you want the double queen? Do you want the double beds? And then Cam and I never say anything. We're
they're the typewriter.
We're good. We got the king, and they're like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So even with that, how do you guys respond? You're you know what? It is what it is. Give us a king, please.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Shout out to Lamar for the super chat, bro. Appreciate that. He said, good, nice talk tonight. Yeah, we being nice. We being nice tonight. Look, In the chat, y'all ain't never heard
I
me.
know. I'm trying to see what you guys really be doing out here. You guys got people sending you money, like.
Yeah, because you, so you guys know, information is never free, and when it's a price for it, people appreciate it. So even y'all giving this insight into your dynamic, it's a cost for that. And so even though I don't take it lightly, because I've been, like I said, I've been watching you guys. I did my homework on you guys, but that's why I knew y'all was in Vegas. And so that's what I was asking about, the whole dynamic when y'all go out to different places. Everybody just look at y'all like y'all just friends hanging out, right?
Yeah. I can see some people's faces trying to figure it out, which is also pretty funny.
Give an example. Give us example. One time where it was like, oh my God, these people over here, they think something's going on. It is.
So
People who know us.
Yeah, so it's really people who know. So our coworkers, for example, we went out one time with our coworkers. And
Cam and Tony work for the same company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Wait. So y'all met at work?
No. We met at school. We met at school.
That would be a whole nother.
Nah. So
I'm team get it in at work. I'm
Get it at work. Y'all ever got it in?
Tony.
Oh gosh, no, that's disgusting. That's so unsanitary to me.
It happens.
It happens.
It does.
It does happen.
I don't know how. Like, I couldn't imagine. I'm too paranoid, but
I'm a single guy with no kids, and I work around 90% women. It happens.
oh gosh.
Okay.
All right. So, what was the question you asked me?
So the question was, what was the example, or what was this time when you guys were out and it's like somebody was like, oh my God, what are they doing? What's going on over here? I don't want to say it was Karen, but it was just
Not Karen.
not Karen, but it was somebody.
It was one of our coworkers. Cam and I, like Kelsey said, we work at the same place, and kind of like we were drinking, and like Kel and I were probably just being ourselves, but us being ourselves in front of our coworkers. So basically, our coworkers aren't aware of our full relationship, because it's not just like it's not really anybody's business at work. So they saw the interaction between Kel and I, and like I kind of looked at one of their faces, and she was just kind of like looking at me, and then I saw her talking to her boyfriend, and then like, because it was just kind of like, how, like, why is Cam letting this go on right in front of her almost? like this wouldn't be okay if my boyfriend was like, I guess, kind of like, having interaction with another woman to this extent right in front of me. And like, she was really trying to figure it out.
So how did you handle it? You just like, okay, great. More doors, please.
Yeah, just don't acknowledge it.
So what about what was the example for either one of the young ladies when your eyes are out and it happened?
So I think Cam and I sometimes will go on like girl dates, and usually it's like with like with a larger group of girlfriends. And when you're drinking, you get a little just more relaxed. And I know Cam and I, when we get to drinking, usually at brunch, it's usually brunch that turns out to be like a whole day type thing. And like we'll get a little like just comfortable and just like kind of handsy with each other, or like kissy. And then like people will just be like, did I just see them kiss?
Yeah.
And then we don't acknowledge it. We just kind of like move on and mind our business, because like no one's actually going to come up to us and ask us anything. I do remember one time, Cam, this guy was trying to talk to me, and she just wasn't having it. And she was like, that's my girlfriend. You need to back up. And he's like, what?
They don't respect it from me. It makes me so mad. Like, if a man came up and said like, yo, that's my girl, like stop. But if it's me, they're like, haha, let me see a kiss. And I'm just like, what?
The old trick in the bag. Let's see your kids, Dan. Yeah. No, it's crazy, but that's. I think a lot of times. So what is what out of all of this? What's the most? What has been the greatest thing that brought you joy about this relationship, or what you can say? You know what? I'm so glad I'm in this relationship because of this. This really.
King Dre.
Threes, like we say, three's a party. So like, whenever it was Tony and I, like our relationship was great. I'm not like, I loved it, but like he played his video games and like I'd be alone. So like the fact that I always have like my best friend with me at all times and like we can just do so much together. I feel like everything we do is more fun because there's like three of us. So just having two partners.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing for me. Just having the ability to have relationship with a man and also with a woman together is like, it just kind of brings a fullness that I didn't even know was possible, because I've always been in a traditional monogamous relationship with men. So it's just like, to also have a girlfriend too, there's just like certain things that like men cannot understand about women that like Cam and I just click. And then there's things that like this masculine energy that Cam cannot provide for me that I get from Tony. So like to have that combined in one relationship, it's just a fullness that is unexplainable.
Shout out to you. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to have a one-on relationship. I try. I don't know how to do it.
So how for you? What about for you, Tony?
Yeah, so in ways they're the same, in like ways they're different. And it's kind of refreshing sometimes to just be with two people. Like, I don't know if that's obvious or not.
Oh. No.
No. Yeah, they're very different. And that's really good, because to do this relationship and then to be with two other people who are kind of the same, it's just kind of like you're not getting the maximum benefit out of it. It's just
right.
You and
I like that maximum benefit word.
Let
me go get a bottle of wine then. Let's go.
Let's get some wine. We're all drinking it.
Lawrence. Well, we gonna turn. Oh, we all want to turn. Okay. That's what we needed.
Tony's not drinking though.
Hey, hold on. Go ahead.
Here we go.
Now it's gonna be something. Now you shouldn't have said that.
No, it's just water.
It's good. We almost at the hour mark. It's 58. So you guys got any questions in the chat room? This is a good time to ask questions in the chat room. Now, this is the thing. This is we got somebody that's threw it at $2. Appreciate that $2 check in.
Shout out to Roastermentals. What's going on, bro?
Appreciate that. So this is the thing. So when you ask these questions, please be on point on what you're asking, and also just my bruh, and these are my people, Pattersons. You got to be respectful. Anything sideways, you're getting out of here. I'm just saying, I'm laying down the law.
Y'all disrespectful. Guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna block y'all from my channel. You know I will. I done blocked plenty.
Right. We just can't have that, because what happened is y'all ain't used to this. So we got the wine glasses. We about to get official. So there is a question. Was it Dre had a question in there?
No, he just said, shout out to Tony. Ain't no way in hell I'd be able to live in a house with two chicks. I don't even want to live with one. I don't want to live with none.
No, but it all depends. Excuse me. It depends on the guy, and it depends on the whole dynamic. So any questions that you guys have in the chat room while we got the PolyPattersons, you can actually find them on Instagram and on YouTube. They just got a new channel that's on and popping. I love the graphics on there. I love the looking away and showing it like it's a whole TV show. I love it. So good. He said, keep up the righteous work. I guess it's going to come up. So any questions? Dre, Alf, you got any more questions? I know I got a couple more.
Oh yeah, I haven't been on 10-hour streams. Don't play with me. I'm trying to be nice here.
That was the end of my wine.
I got some questions. I want you guys to ask some questions. So let's give a number. Let's ask 7 good questions. Good ones. Good ones. Not like y'all be French kissing. None of that type of shit. Real questions.
Right.
Go ahead, King Dre. Thanks for the super chat, bro. You know what? The YouTube is a little delayed and stuff. Thanks for the super chat, bro.
Get that super chat. Get these super chats up. Get that Cash App too.
Yes.
What's your Cash App, Alfie?
I put it in the chat. Surprisingly, it ain't no moderators in the chat right now. I'll put it in there. You see what I'm saying?
See this stuff right here.
You know what? Since you want to troll, we're gonna troll you back. This is gonna be your last time. So don't you see we got a player, an OG player, a player, and 2 women? We don't need to ask this type of shit.
How do I get a girlfriend? What are her number? Get out of here with that, man. We already told you the prerequisites of when you even ask a question. If you're too young for this, you need to get off. This is not PG-13. Or even Bambi version, whatever that version is, general public, whatever. But yeah, so you got to.
He said, "Oh, he an incel. How the hell did you find us then?"
It's the wrong thing for you, buddy.
Hey, MGTOW, hold on. MGTOW Dictionary. Quit sending your guys over here. Quit sending your guys over. Lawrence, he been sending his guys over here, and they've been making comments on my videos, and then they delete it so I can't respond. MGTOW Dictionary, dude. Me and Jonathan, if you keep playing with me and Jonathan gonna come over there and cook you again, bro. You better stop it.
I'm telling you guys, coming on YouTube, this is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have trolls and people acting crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
So
hey, just hire me. I'll be a moderator. I get them for you good. I get them good.
Ready.
Shoot.
We've been through it all. Trust me.
You're getting about a level 3 from me today. I'm telling you. Out of a 10.
So what's the question Dre got?
I'm a bad brother. Dre says, when there's an issue or a conflict, how does that work? Let's say one makes you mad and another jumps in and picks a side. Good question, King Dre.
Let me think. So I guess it's tough, right? Picking a side, because you two, when they're going at it, the third really just tries to mediate. I guess in mediation, there's kind of like a smart way of going about picking a side, but you're not really picking a side. You're just trying to make sure that where people can understand where they may be wrong in a situation. So it's more so just helping the conversation go smooth. I really try not to pick just blatantly pick a side. So the other person doesn't feel ganged up on or attacked by 2 people.
Yeah, the arguments never go well if someone does feel like a side is being picked. I know I felt like that once, and I stormed off and didn't talk to them for 2 days. So it doesn't help.
So we got another
question. Do you see polygamy becoming mainstream to the public? What do you think about that?
So I do think that, so that's our goal, is to give visibility of this type of dynamic. A lot of the mainstream relationships regarding polygamy stem from a sister wife kind of view, where the women are not in relationship with each other. They're just in relationship with the man. And then the man kind of moves between the relationships with the women. So it is our desire to, kind of show people that there is beauty in having more than one partner in an ethical way. So I would like for it to be more mainstream, and I would like for it to be a broader view of what polygamy is, because there's so many different shapes in polygamy. There's a V dynamic where it's one person and they have a relationship with two different people. There's a triangle, there's the square where it's four people. It happens.
Hold on. I don't. What's the square? I don't know the square one.
No.
Square is just like a triangle, but it's four people and not three people. So
yeah. So there's like
2 or 1 and 3, or 3 and 1.
No, it's four.
There's a lot of different. Well, I guess so. There's like 1 with 3. Like I've seen one person with 3 women. But then there's squares where, like, if you think about the corners of the square, that they're connected to 2 points. So, like, maybe all 4 of these people are connected, but the 2 people diagonal from each other aren't involved, if that makes sense. And then I also saw this thing today, and there were 2 couples. Everyone was heterosexual, but basically the wives just switched between husbands, and they all lived under one roof. So everyone was straight, but it was like switching wives, basically. So there's so many different ways that polygamy can look. It's crazy. Or polyamory, not polygamy.
That's when my church come out. I ain't gonna be able to do that.
It's not church.
That's when my church came out. Sorry, Jesus said I can't do that.
Man said, is there a dating app you would recommend for a couple looking to date a woman? Facebook. That's my answer. Michelle answer.
We use Bumble. For us.
And there's also on Instagram, Melanin Polynation. They really do a great job of connecting people who are interested in polyamory.
Yeah.
Tony, you be trying to put your boys on, like, hey, dude, you going through issues with your girl? You better get you too, fam. I don't know what's going on. At least had 2, bro. You got 1 girlfriend and you stressing? Like,
Nah. I try and respect people's relationships. That ain't none of my business. Now, if you come to me and ask me for advice, that's different. But I ain't gonna push anything on anybody.
Yeah. See the next one.
Blair, he said, do you 3 live together? Do you find any obstacles, issue in your relationship? Is there just, well, you can't late, bro.
You can't late, bro.
But you could just skim it real quick.
Go back and listen to the replay and give a super chat while you're doing it.
Here go one. Well, dang it. See y'all becoming late. How did they begin? Yeah, we already went over that.
Yep.
Here we go. Are polygamous relationships better than the normal one?
Monogamous.
Oh, I took my glasses off. My bad.
Yeah, it says normal one, but it means monogamous.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Are they better? I mean, it kind of depends on your flavor, right? Like, everything don't work for everybody. So that really depends on you. Like, that really depends on you. You gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I feel like for me personally, it has been better. It's been something new and something I never saw for myself. But like Kel said, just like feeling so fulfilled in this relationship, I've never felt like that before. So
now it got me a question. Aha! Thank you. I'm glad you said that. My guns are out now. So, inside a relationship, has it revealed any insecurities within any one of you guys that you wouldn't have felt any other way? Because you had the fulfillment side, but has it said, you know what? Ooh, I didn't know I felt that way. Let me deal with this insecurity. Has that came up?
Yeah, I think it's come up for all of us. I think me specifically, the woman sets the tone for a household. So, in traditional relationships, there's just certain things I don't have to compromise on, because my man is like, doesn't care how, I organize the kitchen or how I fold the clothes or, those type of things. So for me, I guess coming into an already established relationship brings some insecurity because it's like, where do I fit here? Or can I make space for myself here? Or do I need to just kind of fall in line with what's already been established? And I don't think I would have ever had that insecurity in a traditional relationship because there would have been no need to, that would have never come up. So definitely it's been a stretching for all of us, but at the same time, like, I don't know if anybody's ever stretched any muscles, but it's an uncomfortable feeling, but then you're making space. So I do appreciate the stretching at the same time.
Battle Rifle says, does anyone try to guilt trip you into getting out of the relationship, or do you keep it a secret? Well, they don't keep it a secret. They're
right here on. Don't tell mama. Don't tell mama. You gotta listen to the replay. You guys becoming Johnny Lake. You know what I mean? Everything you asked me, you already answered.
For the super chat, Blue Sword, he says, how do you go about bringing this up to someone you've been in a monogamous relationship with already? I've done it before, but there was no this light in my face. I've done this before, but there was no established monogamy. At the start, we were friends. Hold on, I gotta read that in slow motion.
That's what he's saying. You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
How would you go about? Where did it go?
Go.
Okay. How would you bring this up in an established monogamous relationship? I have done it before, but there was no relationship already established. We were all friends at the same time. All right, I guess at the same time. I'm just paraphrasing what he said.
That makes sense, I think.
Well, you would need the other two people to that's a crazy question to ask a friend.
Yeah.
Like what kind of, like, we all friends or like?
So, to me, I see this question as like, so how would he bring this up? He's in an established monogamous relationship. So like, how would he bring it up to his partner maybe? That's how I kind of see it. And then I've done it before, but it wasn't in a relationship. They were just friends. So he brought it up to his friend and they weren't in a relationship, but bringing it up to a partner, for me, I just like told Tony my desires and we like figured out something that would work for us. So if you just like tell your partner how you're feeling and like what type of thing you're looking into, like, you know, maybe they'd be down. Like you'd be surprised by like how accepting and open people can be if you just like really talk to them.
I also think it's very different though. I think it would have been a different conversation if Cam came to Tony and said, hey, I'm interested in being with another man. Because then it brings the insecurity of like, what am I not giving you? You know?
Now we're talking.
But for her to say, hey, I'm interested in experiencing relationship with a woman, Tony can understand like there's something that I can't provide for her. And so he might be a little bit more open to exploring that in comparison to like a same-sex type thing.
Well, Tony.
Am I have a boyfriend?
Oh, Tony. No. Go ahead right now. Great.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree with Kelsey. Even though like I've had insecurities, like, because it's like sometimes, I guess what was different when Cam would be with her friends normally, like they would be having a great time, right? Like obviously, and it's just like, oh, that's just girlfriends just like hanging out, having a great time. I guess when they're in a relationship with that, then with a girlfriend, it's kind of different. It's like, oh, like she may not ever really be this happy when it's us, but I think that's just kind of like a girl thing when they're just talking about certain topics and stuff. Like I would never, like how excited they get over like talking about like nails and hair and stuff like that. I would never be able to provide.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there was an insecurity into sometimes how excited Cam would get in speaking certain topics with Kel. But
see, a lot of times people don't talk about that because we only, like I said, if you go back and listen to this again, people who are asking questions, we already cover a lot of this. So a lot of it is, if we're pulling the covers back to let you see what happens in the polyamorous relationship and some of the dynamics, because some of the same rules that are applying to this polyamorous relationship actually applies to a monogamous relationship. If you follow the rules, that was what really got my attention with you guys, is because I'm like, you know what? How is it? It bothered me. How is it that they got it and people who are in monogamous relationships don't get it? You know what I mean? They just like, they get stuck on stupid. So it's like, that's what I really, really drew me to you guys. I listened to the Porters. I can't think of the people who are in Atlanta.
Atlanta Ruffalo?
Yeah, I listened to them and somebody else. And I was like, I enjoyed everyone.
Why you listening to all this polygamy stuff? What you want? What's on Lawrence's agenda? You trying to investigate for what?
I am a good student, my good brother. I'm trying to bring truth to everybody. You bring up my Muslim now, brother. Why are you trying to put me on the couch like that? That's not right.
Shout out to Slump for the super chat. What's good? Just showing love and appreciation. I appreciate that, bro. I really do.
I think the reason why I want to know, because I think I like to learn different dynamics because it's important. When you talk, especially when we talk to guys about love and relationship and other things like that. And this is another dynamic that maybe some guys are ready to deal with, or maybe are not ready to deal with. So it's best to have a good working knowledge of it. So that's the reason why. So I answered the question, but so anybody else have any more questions? Yeah, Lincoln's in there. He's sleep on Alfie's shoulder. So definitely. So
the kind of dog got the t-shirts coming out. So then the kind of dog Lincoln is, I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt. So make sure you buy one.
So any more questions in the chat room? We have 116. We got the PolyPattersons. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on PolyPatterson3. Let me get that correct. And you can find them on YouTube. You guys need to subscribe to the channel. I think I already did. I already got them on Instagram. They're coming out with content. They got cooking little specials they be doing, cooking stuff and talking. And you might not want that, guys, but you might learn a new recipe or something you can share.
I got a question, and then I see Battle Rifle's question. So after I ask this question, then Battle Rifle, we're gonna get your question. I seen a couple of channels. 1, 2, 3. What's the difference between the PolyPatterson 1, 2, 3? What's the difference? It seemed like I seen like more than one. Let me see. On YouTube.
There's only one PolyPatterson3, and that's us.
Yeah.
Right now.
We didn't create those channels that they exist.
I had somebody fake of Instagram of mine. Let me see. So what are your patterns? What is your goal for your YouTube channel?
Just to show our life. Like, yeah. I don't think
you trying to go viral and all that, or you just want to make it fun?
We've already been viral.
Yeah.
We don't actually. That's not what we're looking for. We've been there. It's not our thing. So
just like show how like normal, although we're in this weird, crazy relationship, like our lives are very normal. So we just want to show people like what everyday life is like for us.
So what's the question right there?
Battle Rifle says, not trying to be sexist, sound sexist, but who do you think are more against poly relationships, men or women? Good question, bro. You redeemed yourself now.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, the obvious is probably.
I don't know. I don't think it's based on gender. I think it's based off of like capacity. Like, do you have the capacity to understand that this dynamic can be beneficial and like fruitful? And I don't think that has to do with gender, because there's plenty of men who are like,
it's a super. Okay, now go ahead.
Let me put a super chat.
I don't know.
Cool. They want the party. They want to see me turn up. I'm Zazo. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be. Thank God, that's my brother right there. Mo2 all day. Super chat party. Zazo, appreciate it. We're gonna do something, Zazo, this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think it depends on gender. I think it's more so like, do you have the capacity to understand it?
I have a question. Now I know it's getting late. So hypothetically, you guys have good thing. I'm glad you followed them. See, y'all guys are putting out super chat. Another super chat just came through.
Okay, I gotta get it ready now. One more super chat. We gonna have a party, y'all. You better quit playing around with me.
We need $100 though. But anyway, so hypothetically, down the road, you guys have kids. How would you explain this relationship?
Oh, to children?
To children, yeah. How would you explain that to? How would you explain the dynamic of to your children?
Probably they have 3 loving parents. Like, not, I know we like talked to another family about it, and they were just telling us how kids are so non-judgmental and they're so loving and accepting. So if this is what they grow up with, like, it's all they'll know. And once they get to the age where kids at school question them, like, they can just like tell them not all relationships look the same, but they're fortunate to have 3 loving parents. And I think that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah. The saying always existed, it takes a village. It's just your immediate village might just be a little bigger.
A little bit bigger, right?
And so, and it's a little like, cause it's kind of frustrating sometimes how people look at just the traditional monogamous relationship as kind of like the gold standard. Where in the Black community, like we or not just Black, like we're hip. Like this shit is just like
there we go, Tony.
A lot of these relationships,
no,
a lot of these relationships just aren't good relationships, and it's just like why are we acting like all of a sudden? Why are we acting? It's just kind of weird when people start talking to us about it. They just start acting like they've just every relationship they've been in with another person has just been perfect. It's just like, dude, I know some of the relationships you've been in, and I don't know. I just don't like how it's just portrayed all of a sudden when people start talking to us about it.
So it's almost like they're like speaking to, oh my God, you guys are in a poly relationship. So it's like you're beneath us. While you know in a monogamous relationship, they're going through hell and high water. Weeds are coming out, weeds back in, blue on the side, whatever the case may be, and they're not having a good relationship. Yeah. So I understand. I hear you. Because we hear it on this side. And most guys are trying to run away from it, and then most guys don't even know how to deal with it inside a relationship. But yeah, people, like we all know, people they judge because they don't understand. And when you don't understand something, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to judge it because you don't understand. I don't repeat myself, but it's important that people know that. So anybody in the chat room got any more? I'm getting messages from way in Connecticut, man. Like, we're enjoying this. This is good. This is good. I got a good question. Oh my God, you're so nice.
You guys chill. Y'all chilling? Y'all press for time or what? Because this questions is coming in. I see DJ says, would you say females would you say females are willing to do this, are easy or more open-minded?
Oh. Okay, let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it. When y'all come in here, please use the King's English, okay? Because now you're going to bring out LDA. I'm going to get my teacup and we're going to have a little class in English. So when you ask a question,
you got up in the super chat too, bro.
So no, we're not. I understand you're typing on the run or you're thinking about something while you're typing. Please phrase your questions and so we can articulate them at the best level of understanding. So your question was, do you feel that women are more open to having this type of relationship than men? If that's not what you said, it's already out there. You can come back, DJ, and we can correct it. Auto-correct.
Auto-correct, yeah.
Did that make sense now?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that it's more accepted for women to explore their sexuality than it is for men off top, especially in the African American community. So I think that leaves room for them to be a little bit more open-minded than men. But then also too, a lot of women struggle with insecurities, so they would never bring another woman into a relationship out of fear that they would lose their man. So yeah, kind of depends on the person, but I do feel like on a general level, yes, women are a little bit more open-minded, but I think they have the room to be a little bit more open-minded.
I like that battle. He says, did people mistake you as being related?
all
I
the time.
can see that.
Yeah, like we're all like similar skin tones and we're all like close to the same height. And people ask us all the time if we're related. And I'm just like, no.
If I was them, I'd say that's my cousin. This is my cousin.
No,
And
no,
We're twins. Someone asked if we were twins once. And I was like, yep.
twins. Okay, yeah, we're twins. Yeah, great.
And if you guys have questions for us, feel free too. We ain't the police. You can ask us back.
Right. So yeah, definitely, because I know and the time is actually winding down. We don't want to keep you guys too long. So definitely, you have any questions? If you guys have any questions, you definitely is a good time to ask too, because I've been doing this about 10 years as far as with YouTube and relationship stuff. Alfie's right there, pulled me back from the dead because I was about to give this whole thing up. So definitely, you have any guys questions? But any more questions in the chat room? But we need to get some more super chats in before they go. We're going to sudden death mode. We had sudden death mode. We got about 5 minutes. Sudden death mode. You see, Alfie got his hand on his eyebrow. He's at sudden death mode. They're drinking one more glass of wine. You better get the questions in now.
I just gotta focus, bro, because of the light, my glasses. This shit, it makes a glare, so I can't really rock with it because of this light right here. So.
You went underwater for a minute.
Oh no! I said it's a glare with the glasses, so I can't see as well because the glare with the glasses on, I can't see. Usually you can see with the glasses on, I can't see with the glasses off.
Oh, okay. You gotta get the no glare glasses. I don't got them yet. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. You guys got any questions? PolyPatterson3. And then if anybody in the chat room have any more questions, it's a good time to ask. And my buddy in Connecticut, you got any questions? Because you hit me on Facebook now. That's a good question. You have any more questions you want to ask? It's a perfect time. We're counting down. We're in sudden death mode. Sudden death mode. Get them super chats up. Get that Cashapp. Let's do this. Dre.
Yeah, they do, Dre.
Yeah, they do, Dre.
Yeah, we asked that one already.
Yep, they do collaborate with the
I got a question. I heard you guys say you guys collaborate with others. As far as like what do you guys be doing? Virtual dates? You guys interviews? What you guys be doing?
It's like Instagram Live. We've gone live with a couple of different triad families, and we've been going on a lot of platforms. We've kind of taken a break because we moved recently and we've been really busy, but we've gone on other people's platforms and done little like interviews here and there. So
we did one really interesting one with Cosmic Convo where they took our natal chart from the Western zodiac and kind of like showed how there's things in our chart that kind of would lead us into this dynamic. I think that was something that was like really the most intriguing collaboration that we've done for me, because like just to see all of our charts lined up and to have these certain things that kind of like would say like, oh, I could see you being in this type of relationship. So that was something really interesting too.
Wow, yeah, I love the natal charts. They're very interesting.
The biggest collaboration we did was the challenge.
Uh-oh.
So we did this. Did you guys see it? It was.
I seen the challenge.
Yeah.
when Tony's like, then they do like in the swing, and then they jumped out. No touch, whatever the song was. You know what I mean? I don't. That challenge, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
That's what it is.
I'm like, Tony, what you doing? Like, where your rhythm, man? Like.
This is a combination question because two people just asked it kind of similar. Republic says advice for my girl getting into the lifestyle, and then Bruce Leroy says, how do I get my girl? Y'all, this is what y'all really want to know.
Yeah.
This is what they really wanted. I respect y'all for not asking because I know y'all wanted to ask so bad 30 minutes ago. I know y'all did. So what advice would you say if a guy want to bring his girlfriend into it?
Just make sure, like what we talked about with what all the relationship requires, make sure you actually want to relate, or make sure you know what you want. If you want a threesome, cool. Find someone who like wants that too. But if you want a relationship, you're gonna have to put in a lot of work. And like the threesomes are great, but it's not worth all the work that comes with this relationship. So just like decide what you want and try not to like mislead anyone. Be honest.
That's what the problem is. I think most guys that's what they thinking, Alfie, man. I'm telling you. We just want to threesome. They don't think about the other side of this having the relationship.
Hey,
side.
threesomes can ruin your lives, guys. I'll tell you, I almost have my lives ruined behind that. Y'all don't want to do that. Man, you gotta have some game to do that. It's not just you ask them and then they do it, and it's just it don't work like that. I keep telling you guys, man. Y'all never want to listen.
No.
So and where we at? We at the 1:30. Y'all, final countdown. We got to let these wonderful people go. We're at 1:30.
All right.
Y'all better hear the
Any last word for you guys?
Just continue to follow us if you haven't followed us on Instagram. We're PolyPatterson3, and then we also just launched our YouTube page. If you want to get the full details about how we met, that video just launched yesterday. So definitely check it out on YouTube at PolyPatterson3 channel.
And my last words are just thanks so much for having us. Thanks for allowing us on your platform. Shout out to all you super chatters and all you other chatters with the questions. We appreciate you guys.
Want to answer this guy's question?
Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, no, I was just going to say if they wanted to provide advice to this guy, for this Republic of Awesome guy.
My girl was the one that was bringing it up. She's tuned in right now, so advice for her.
Just pick a quality woman. Like, this is, like, the relationship between the women is, like, the thing that kind of holds everything together. And make sure it's someone, like, you really have a relationship with, I guess.
Take it slow. Take it slow.
Hey, that's the name of the song playing. Ain't that something? It's called Take It Slow.
Definitely. So definitely shout out to the PolyPatterson3 Alpha Kingdom for finessing and putting this all together. To the old man, Lawrence D. Adams. To all the super chatters in the place to be for shooting super and chatting, bringing that cash money to the plate. We want to thank you, and make sure you find these guys once again on PolyPatterson3 on Instagram. Hit them up. Don't come in on foolishness. We found out you some foolishness. We coming for you. These are people now.
I appreciate that.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
I got an idea. Y'all can interview how was it go? A teacher that stopped teaching and started doing YouTube full time. A manifestation right there. That's the plan we're doing. That's what we try to do here. So I appreciate everybody. Republic, King Dre. Shout out to Anthony Spade, Red Pill Jehovah's, and everybody else. Peace, y'all.
Hey, y'all stick on. Don't go off because we're gonna talk afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
And if you really want to know, you just got to book a one-on-one consultation. I'll teach you how to do all this shit.
Not the 90s, though.
It was a different time.